It's the Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. We're pleased to have you with us. He is Rogers Hampton. I am Patrick Netherton, and we are pleased to welcome in the lead studio host for CBS College Football, the SEC on CBS, and also hosts Inside College Football on CBS Sports Network with his cast of characters. He is Adam Zucker joining us. Zuck, what's up, man? How are you?
Good. Just dancing in my seat in rush hour traffic in New Jersey on my trip around one of the most harrowing drives you can ever imagine in your life, especially if you're not from these parts, and that is Route 22. 3 lanes each way, commerce in the middle with center U-turns.
Do I need to let you go so you can concentrate on driving?
I have a hands-free device. I'm used to it. It's in my blood.
Okay. I mean, you grew up there, so, it makes it you've been there a long time, so that makes sense. Hey, give us some idea of how this college football season has been for you. Not only are you the host for the SEC on CBS, but you also do a great job on the Inside College Football stage with that bunch of rascals that you have to deal with week in and week out. What's it been like this year, man?
Yeah, you know what? It's been a wild ride, and normally a wild ride like this, you'd be exhausted, but it's just flown by. It's been exhilarating. I love the fact that there was really no debate about which 4 teams we were going to be left with. Maybe if Alabama had pulled out that Iron Bowl, we would have a problem. Or if Utah hadn't blown it Friday night, we'd have a problem. Or if Wisconsin had actually pulled off the win against Ohio State, you might have had the single biggest contribution from one game toward an argument to expand the playoff if you really value conference champions. So in the end, it was just been a thrill ride, man, from Saturdays to Tuesdays, every day in between, and I do take a lot of pride in that Tuesday show. Those guys and I have been together for about a decade, except for Rick, who comes and goes between jobs, of course. But it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and I will say this though: look, you and I both know that on that dais, the wildest of wild cards is Brian Jones, multiple time guest on the Patrick Netherton Show, good friend. He actually hosted the Tim Brando Show down in Shreveport at one point for a week. We know what it is when you have to deal with him. Do you just go in knowing that there's going to be something that happens every week that you just have to be prepared for, even though you can't truly prepare for it?
The only thing I ever feel like I have to be prepared for is truly listening to whatever analogy he's going to bring at me, because to not react to it would be weird.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a roach, moves like a roach in your bowl of cereal, or trying to get around a refrigerator in a closet, all this kinds of stuff. So even though I know something's coming, I haven't heard it in rehearsal. I don't know what he's going with. He definitely hasn't had it approved by anybody.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a job where, it's a job of listening as much as it's preparation and knowledge and excitement, because the excitement comes naturally, and with that, usually everything else does too. But, with BJ, I got to just pay close attention to things. Sometimes it's even following up when he thinks, one team's not getting a fair shake.
As a parent, do you ever try to chide him for talking with his mouth full during the beef jerky segment?
That has been one of the greatest product partnerships of all time, actually. Yeah. We love that. And, we originally had that segment where it was going to be trivia followed by the what's your beef thing. And the trick was our floor director was going to have to bring the beef out during the time where we put the poll up. And this beef was suddenly magically appearing on the set. And I just said, you know what? The heck with this. Give me the beef from hold on one sec. Let me just take this exit ramp.
There you go. Don't miss your turn.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, bring me the beef. I'll give it out like a reward for getting the questions right. And so we went from there, and so it became comical where BJ would tear open the bag and start chewing, and everybody was happy, from one end to the other.
It was pretty good. Tell me about the Army-Navy game coming up this weekend. What all does the network have planned?
Well, we got a lot of plans. In fact, what I was just doing was buying a lot of rain gear because of the forecast. I've been driving around getting waders and Yeah, I'm serious. And some like rainproof golf pants and stuff like that. Just, just to be comfortable. So we're looking good. We're going to start at noon with the March On. We televise the whole March On, the entire Corps of Cadets, the entire Brigade of Midshipmen. And that goes till about 1:30, and then there's a tailgate show, which is more game related and special guest related, and I'll be a part of that with BJ and Rick from the sideline, Brent, Houston Nutt, Randy Cross, she and Stanwick Birch on the outside, and then we'll come on at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central with our regular college football today, with kickoff at 2 Central, and it's great, and there's a lot of compelling storylines. Of course, for Army, it's going to be these guys' last game, whether they win or lose. Navy's got the Liberty Bowl coming up against Kansas State, but Army's won the last 3. They've got the Commander-in-Chief's trophy at West Point. They beat Air Force, so they can retain it with a win. But if Navy wins, they're taking the trophy back because they beat Air Force also. Rather, Air Force beat Army. Sorry, got that a little backward here. But Navy can win it and take it back for the first time since the Army grabbed it away from them and ended that long streak that Navy was on.
Adam, how important is it that this game is by itself now, that it's been moved? I just love that. I love that this is the spectacle by itself on a weekend and not buried in with a whole bunch of other games.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you, because it kind of is like part bowl game, part conference championship, part, and obviously a rivalry that you normally get on a rivalry weekend. So it kind of takes the games you get on Thanksgiving week with the games you get conference championship week with the display of like a Rose Bowl, really, or just any super mega bowl game where there's tradition and parades and things like that. It's just why I think of the Rose Bowl. So it's all that, kind of poured into one. And while we should be respecting our servicemen and women every single day of the year, these are the guys who are about to serve their time defending our country. And so I think it's kind of nice that the least we could do is put away the CFP, put away the if they win this team, that team, and just honor these guys, And I don't expect everybody to fly in from across the country to sit in 45 degrees and raining, but, to just watch it and empathize with what these people have chosen to do with their youth. And it's an honor to be there. And one of my favorite moments in my career was having General Odierno sitting with me and Randy Cross, getting flat out face blasted by horizontal freezing rain in between 2 upper deck cutouts in Philly about a decade ago, and talking about how the assassination of John F. Kennedy was what inspired him to want to serve our country, to take his football career to West Point, which an injury unfortunately derailed on its own anyway. But that was when he decided he wanted to protect our country. And so it's really just awesome. And you just take a big deep breath and you listen and you look, and you're just proud to be there.
Yeah. Look, it's one of those games. I don't have a ton of things that I want necessarily to do on the bucket list. Sure, I'd love to go to a lot of, Super Bowl, that kind of thing, the Masters, that sort of stuff. But Army-Navy is up there on the list. Like, I definitely want to get there for one of those games and just to see it, because not just the game itself, but as you mentioned, the pageantry around it sounds just amazing. And it's literally a bunch of kids who know, the old NCAA commercial, 95% of these kids are not going pro or going pro in something other than sports. They're going pro in the most dangerous profession you can possibly go into.
Yeah, they're going pro in like thermodynamics and nuclear submarines and all kinds of crazy stuff, or it's just straight up, land marines. It's
ground forces.
It's wild. And hey, look, BJ and I know we know a guy. You need to get up here.
No,
Can't get you into Augusta though, buddy.
Yeah, well, look, I wouldn't look if of the hierarchy of people I would ask for things, I would not ask you for Augusta passes. All right, I'm just
I can't even go.
Right. I'm just saying I know the right people to ask, and you ain't it. No offense to you, my friend.
No, it's actually, if you want to get into the disc golf world championships, I'm your guy.
Yes. Actually, that you stole my next question. Talking to Adam Zucker, studio host for CBS Sports. So what's the disc golf world like right now? Do we have a Tiger Woods of disc golf out there right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you obviously didn't do your research on
No,
this
I
question.
have zero research on disc golf, Adam.
There are a couple guys. The one who has really become the face of the sport, and it's through a lot of hard work, not just on the course, but in social media and switching disc companies, if you will, is Paul Macbeth. And he's had a few of his moments put on, like, SportsCenter Top 10 and just YouTube stuff. There's a guy, Nico LaCastro, who's doing some great things. And so, a decade ago, I was doing the DVD for the World Championships. There wasn't much video out there. Now it's everywhere. It's really great. I was able to do a clinic in my town. We had over 100 people show up for an open house kind of a day. Turned our municipal ball golf course into a disc golf course for an afternoon. But Paul Macbeth had an 18 under round, which was obviously spectacular and something you can pull up and check out. But he is superb, and there's a few, and there's some young guns coming up, and there's a little bit more money in the sport now, and more courses are popping up too. So it's really neat. I wish I could have been even more a part of it as well, but I feel I've done my part and still get to enjoy it too.
Look, and this is why I tell everyone that the Patrick Netherton Show is different and unique. And look, we talk barbecue, we talk. Just the other day, I was going through the Siegfried and Roy bio on the air. We talked about Mr. Ed at one point. We're a different show, Adam, and I think you know me enough to know that I'm a different guy anyway. This is a different show, and so if we can bring you some disc golf information, we're going to bring you some disc golf information, by God.
Hey, man, I played when I was in Shreveport many years ago, covering Louisiana Tech, Tulane, and the Tulane team shacking up at Louisiana Tech in Ruston before their game in Shreveport against Miss State. So, yeah, man, there's like a course on a interstate,
Clyde Fant Parkway,
grass median somewhere. Yeah.
That's right. Actually, I don't think I knew that you had actually been here and played that before. I was going to mention to you that we have a disc golf course here in town, and so I'm glad to know that you've already been out there. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, I was there. I want to check off every state before I croak, and I've already got Iceland as well. So I'm trying.
Well, good for you, man. What's your handicap these days? What are you playing to?
You know what? I have to do the math. I'm probably like a 4. Like I've played the World Championship course and shot even.
Okay.
But that said, the guys who are shooting that course are going to go like 10 or 11 down per round.
Well,
so it's a little more forgiving than ball golf.
Look, I would be if I went out there, I would shoot 6,700 over. So don't feel bad. I tried to throw a frisbee once and it went behind me. So it's not.
You're not supposed to use a lacrosse stick when you do it.
Right, exactly. I had a glove. I don't know what was going on. I had a baseball glove I was trying to throw it with. It was not a good look, buddy. It's not a good look.
You were playing highlight.
Yeah, exactly. Adam Zucker from CBS Sports joining us. All right, Zook, what do you think about the playoffs? What are you looking at? I've got to imagine Ohio State and Clemson may be the highest-rated, at least semifinal that we've ever seen. Do you feel like it's LSU versus whomever comes out of that game?
Yeah, I definitely do. And to your point, I think, this one will probably rival the Ohio State-Alabama semifinal, where Ohio State was the 4 and beat Alabama. And I always forget that wasn't the national championship.
Yeah.
But we got 3 transfer quarterbacks. I feel like we got 3 number 1 teams in this thing for real. Isaiah Simmons is a kid who might be able to neutralize Justin Fields enough to not let him escape too much. And Ohio State's got pros everywhere, including at defensive back, not just with the quarterback, running back, and Chase Young, but at defensive back as well. And that was where Alabama really paid the price against Clemson in the national championship last year. So, I mean, I'm kind of dying to see LSU and Joe Burrow against his former team in New Orleans, but at the same time, I wouldn't count on it either.
Yeah.
And, Clemson might be on their way to 30-0 right now. And regardless of who they faced and what their resume was and the scare against Carolina and the ACC being down because all the other quarterbacks are in the NFL now, that doesn't matter by the time they get set to face Ohio State. And my 2 biggest Ohio State fans in my life are freaked right out about this game.
I love it. Hey, two quick notes for you. A couple of things you can use if you want for your broadcast. You may already know them. Your crack research staff may have already figured it out by now. One, the 3 championships LSU won came against Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma. Two, their last two national championships both happened in New Orleans. One was against Ohio State. One was against Oklahoma. And then the last time that the Saints won the Super Bowl, it was in Miami, which is where it is this year, as well as LSU having their national title game potentially in New Orleans. So there you go. Just a few things that you can put in your back pocket if you need to throw them out. And, hey, maybe it might be good for a beef jerky quiz.
That's a good point. We'll send you a bag of your own.
Hey, you'll never go wrong sending me bags of beef jerky, sir.
Can you dress up like Old Trapper?
I will dress up like whatever you want when it comes to food. You want me in a French maid outfit? You want me in an Old Trapper costume? You want me, whatever, man. I'll dress up a lot for the right kind of food.
I'm not sure if this gets me closer to following you on Instagram or not.
Well, all I know is if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my Whataburger tacky sweater that I was wearing, which was
So you're not in a maid's outfit?
No, just a tacky Whataburger sweater, which is a thing of beauty. I look like the largest traffic cone you've ever seen.
Ooh. All right, that's worth it.
Yeah. Just go look. It's public, so you can go look. You don't have to follow, but you can certainly go check it out. It's worthy of taking a look. There's no doubt about it. Zook, man, be careful on your commute. Don't get run over in a median somewhere on the New Jersey Turnpike. And best of luck, man. We look forward to catching you on the Army-Navy game this weekend.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you.
You got it. Adam Zucker, CBS Sports.